Good morning, everybody. It is another lovely day. We have so many lovely days. In truth, every day is a lovely day, I guess. You can always find something to complain about, but in reality, life's pretty good. So that's what we got done yesterday. We strapped it, and now we're going to start putting some steel on. I don't have a full day. I have to go into the city for an interview this afternoon, and then tomorrow we will have Constantine out here for a documentary, but we'll get as far as we can. Wes can do quite a bit on his own as well, but it is a little bit farther up there and a lot of pieces to cut, so I usually do all the cutting while he screws it on. But at least we got that far. So yesterday we found out we did not get the grant, which is still kind of sad and unfortunate, but we do realize that obviously only so many people can get it, right? And so we're happy for the people that got it, but that means we now need to try to figure things out differently, because we had hoped to buy some farm equipment with that grant as well. So that's what I've been doing this morning, is trying to find equipment, and it's a challenge here. If you're from Canada, you know there's lots and lots of used equipment. There's always like a Ritchie Brothers auction sale or something you can go to, estate sales. It's just lots of places where you can find used equipment, and there's lots of it around, and so usually it's pretty good price as well. The last few years, with the dollar being the way it is, a lot of our used stuff gets snatched up by the Americans and heads south of the border. That has driven the prices up, and it's been a bit more of a challenge to find, you know, certain items at least, especially tractors and stuff, at a reasonable price. But there's still a lot of it around, round balers and stuff too. And so looking around here, trying to find used round balers, in my opinion, they all seem overpriced. You know, you have a 30-year-old baler that's still running for, you know, $15,000, $20,000. It doesn't seem right, you know. Now I realize a brand new baler can easily run you $80,000, $90,000. So, you know, it's all in perspective, I suppose, but I don't have that kind of money, so we're trying to find the best deal. Always the best deal for the cheapest price is what I always try to do with farm equipment, which is why I ended up with a Belarus tractor. It's brand new, this one was, but the price of it is like a used tractor in the West. Is it the greatest tractor on the market? No, but the price point is the advantage there again, and so I'm open to all options for the rest of the farm equipment as well. It's just a matter of finding something that'll work for us, something that's not super duper old. Ideally, I would love a New Holland or a Case old baler, because I'm very familiar with them, and repairs are then a lot easier, versus some brand that I've never heard of. I don't know what I would be running into. I kind of know what weak points the New Holland baler has, and so it would be it's just simple fix, but open to anything. So I'm looking around for that, trying to find what's going to work best. And even if it's only for, you know, 2, 3, 4 years till we get our feet underneath us and then upgrade to something else, that would be fine as well. But I got all this hay here that I would like to get cut, so we're gonna hopefully figure that out soon. We are planning on fencing a lot of this, fencing and cross fencing, and hopefully we'll get some sheep soon, and they'll be out there grazing, as well as I'm still looking for some milk cows. So we had hoped with the grant to milk 10 cows, but on our own we're still planning on doing at least 2 for now, and then we'll grow from there. One especially, we've had a milk cow for many years back in Canada as well, and that provides our table milk and butter and cheese, yogurt. So that really takes the costs of the groceries out, and our goal here again is to become more or less self-sufficient, like to produce almost all of our own food. So we're going to carry on with that goal and then sell the excess. So if I can buy 2 cows, then we'd be able to sell some milk as well, which then pays for the things that we cannot grow. So anyway, that's what I've been doing this morning, looking for different stuff. And it's still a challenge. Like I said, there's no big dealerships that you can drive into. If you're not familiar with that, if you live here and you don't understand, like, we have equipment dealerships. Yes, you have some here too, but they don't have a yard full of old equipment. The dealerships that I've seen here have a handful of new tractors, and that's it. There's one dealership in Nizhny in particular. He has tractors, several different brands of tractors. He's got some balers there. He's got some, just basically multiple different pieces of equipment. But most places that I've seen don't have that. They have just 1 or 2 things, basically. We're used to dealerships that are huge, big yard full of equipment. You can bring your old stuff there, trade it in for new stuff, and then they sell your old stuff. And so you can drive through some of these yards. There's, you know, 10, 20 hectares of old equipment sitting there that you can choose from, and therefore you can get a pretty good deal on it as well. Or they'll source it from one of their other ones. So we have a few dealerships that are really large, especially in Ontario. Like Green Tractor's got 6 dealerships, I think. Stoltz has got 4 or 5 different dealerships. Stoltz has a Case IH dealership, and Green Tractor's John Deere. And then there's other big ones as well. And so there's quite a lot of used stuff to choose from. Here, I don't seem to have that luck. I have not found a dealership with old equipment. Like a dealership that sells new stuff but has old stuff in stock. I haven't found that. So I'm looking on Avito mainly, which is kind of like Kijiji. Not the greatest place to source equipment, but the only one I know of. I was sent a link for another site, but it's like, it's just laid out horrible. So often, very often, I say there's opportunities here. Those to me are huge opportunities. Somebody could come here and build, and like an IT guy could build a proper place to go and find your equipment. You know, something with lots of pictures on it, lots of descriptions. I don't know how many times I've called somebody on an Avito ad and say, hey, is this the right price? And no, there was a 0 missing on it. You know, so in other words, they dropped the price in order to make you call them. That's not the real price. Things like that makes it really hard and challenging, and it takes an enormous amount of time to source anything because it's just, yeah, it's a pain. There's no real good site for looking at farm equipment. And that would be a huge asset, I think. And also just dealerships, people that buy and sell in old stuff. I do have one contact now for round balers, and he brings in a lot of them, not just balers. He's got square balers, round balers. I think he sells a few other things as well. He's importing them from Europe, old stuff, and selling them. The prices, in my opinion, are not for his, but I mean in general for used equipment are just too high. But at least that access is there now. Now that I found him, I can at least contact somebody. So opportunities for people to set things up. I'm rambling on and on here now, but it is a challenge to find good quality used equipment here so far. And maybe I'm doing it wrong. It could be my area too. It looks like a lot of the stuff that I find that does look good is south, Krasnodar, or down there someplace. So maybe that's a challenge as well. There's less farmers in this area, maybe more industrial guys. And I've also been told Russians don't trade in their equipment so often. That makes sense. Maybe they keep them till there's nothing left of them. Maybe that's why there's less used stuff around. I don't know what the answers are, but we're looking for equipment. Now, I'm going to try to get that wall done. We get some flight entertainment here once in a while. Look at this. This guy's coming in close. I don't know what that is. That's pretty close flight. Wild. That's the closest they've ever flown, low-wise. Yesterday they flew through, I think they're going to Kazan, I'm guessing. Anyway, they flew through the valley here and out that way. Not sure if they're checking on the gas pipelines, maybe. I have no idea who it is. It's pretty cool. Always loved helicopters. One day, maybe I'll go on a helicopter ride. Okay. When doing a gable end, I like to make a jig to make things a little simpler. So we do that on sawhorses here. We got the bottom squared up against this board, so every sheet ends up in the exact same spot. I've got a board on that side. I don't normally do that. Normally I just put screws, but some of these boards are a bit too short because the steel here in Russia is a lot wider. We have 3-foot sheets, 36 inches. This stuff is almost 4 feet wide. It's a little over a meter versus ours are like closer to 90 centimeters, which you get the job done fast maybe, but I find it more of a challenge, especially when you're working on a steep roof. It's hard to reach over that far. I do prefer smaller sheets, but this is what's available here, and you get used to it over time. So this line and this is so that I can bump my stick up against it and make my marks for where the strapping is on the wall. And so normally I would just have a screw on both sides and run my level up against, and then I can make my marks. And so I don't have to measure every single sheet. Now I can just lay them in here, get my straight stick, and mark for the strapping. Also having a nice surface area to work on, because every single piece needs to be cut. So the piece that we cut for here will be the reverse over here. Hopefully that's going to work out, because these are not reverse lappable, so we'll have to just make it work somehow. This is the lap edge, that's underlap, this is the overlap, and so they are sensitive as to which direction you can go, if that makes any sense. We start on that side so that from here you can't see the joints, it'll overlap every time. But by the time I get here, so if you can picture, this is a full length sheet and I'm going to be cutting it here, so there's going to be lots of material left over. That will fit over here somewhere. Okay, and so this top piece, a very little bit gets cut off, that will go in here. And so basically the other half of this half, the top half, flips upside down and goes here. Actually, it goes to the other side of the shop, I think, but in any case, same diff. Oh man, made a mistake already. Oh! No, it's okay. But I cut the first piece because we got the right measurements. But it's very important, aesthetically pleasing, for these lines to line up. So I have no idea if that's going to line up or not. I've got it cut. We're going to put it up there and we'll have a look. I may end up having to move it one way or another, because we do want the bottom lines and the top lines to line. Does that really matter? Yeah, it does, because every day I got to come out here and look at it, and every day it would bother me. And it'll bother this little bird too. This bird says, don't you dare put that on crooked. Well, now you don't get a break like that every day. Basically perfect, folks. We didn't measure it before, but we did now, and it's gonna work out just great. There's a wee little gap on the bottom, and I think that's because my corner box might be crooked. But at the top, you can see it touching. And as far as we can measure, it's going to line up. Awesome. Very good, very good. Now, in one way, this looks wasteful. We cut that piece off, and we're throwing the rest out. But we're not actually throwing it out. We're going to stack them all up here. It'll go to the other side and get used, like I said. And we'll grab another sheet. We just cut one small piece out of each one. But it allows us to utilize more. Otherwise you would have to cut, you have to buy staggering different sizes of sheets, and you'd end up wasting a lot more. And in this way we waste less. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so more explanation. Some of you know exactly what you're doing. You don't need any of this, and if it's repetition and annoying, I'm sorry, but there are a lot of people that never do this. So we have the jig here. This is lined up. This is our bottom of the sheet. We measure here, okay, based on the measurement on that sheet. Right, so that gets us to this point, and then we have to add. So in our particular case, I got to add 38 centimeters every time from one side of the sheet to the next. So we do the math on that, we make a line, and this is now drawn here, and that's where I'm going to be cutting the sheet. Okay, and then these lines, I can now line this guy up here, and with that line over there and up against my screw. And like I said, normally I just have 2 screws you bang it against, and now I can mark where I want my strapping to be. And I punch a hole in it. I've got my nail here, or did. Oh, Wes has already got it. And we punch holes in here, so it's easy for the guy up there leaning on his ladder to put the screws in. Now, people before said, well, why are you pre-drilling? It's a waste of time, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's not a waste of time. In fact, it's actually really beneficial. Because these sheets are so wide and you're leaning way off the ladder, and you have to push pretty hard. Even though they're self-drilling screws, they don't often want to go in right away. And so if you have a pre-drilled hole, you don't have that problem. You can just reach over and the screw goes right in. It takes a little bit longer now, but it makes installation that much more fast. Also, it makes sure that all your screws are perfectly lined up. There's no hiccups up or down at all, and it makes a much more professional job. Alright, just leaves a little hole to get started. The only one that doesn't work is on the overlap. I like to do it on the rib here to get it nice and tight, and it doesn't work very well there as it just bends it. So those ones he will, but it'll be right beside him on the ladder, so he can work on those easy. In Nizhny Novgorod right now, getting ready for part 1 of our documentary / interview with Konstantin, the real reporter. If you don't know him, he's got a great channel. Check it out on YouTube. Try to get Anneesa to put the links down here somewhere. And also when the interview comes out, we'll let you know. He did one with us a year ago, and so this is a follow-up. and we're meeting him here, Anneesa and I. There's Anneesa getting ready to go, and we're meeting him here in Nizhny. There's some studio here somewhere we're meeting for the sit-down interview portion. And tomorrow we'll be on farm. Just beautiful here. I've never been to this particular part. We drive down this road lots, coming from up here in the city and around. There's so many amazing spots like this in Nizhny Novgorod that just have a lot of wildlife or scenery, just God's country. It's just, even though you're in the middle of the city, you'd hardly know it here. And overlooking the river. Absolutely gorgeous city to visit. If you have the time, I highly recommend it. I am not a city guy, and yet I say over and over and over again, it's just beautiful here. Absolutely beautiful. There he is right there.
I was just texting you.
How's it going?
Good to see you.
I got no service, so. There's Constantine.
Hey guys.
Told you he exists. We're in studio here now. This is awesome. They got a little place set up you can rent, do podcasts. They have another one over there, depending on how you want it done. And they have all the technology that you might need for doing something. Good morning, everybody. I was told yesterday's video I was too cheerful. So today's video is brought to you in part by a grumpy, sleepy Arend. Or a happy, cheerful one. Boys are getting ready for chores. Wes and I are going to put on another sheet. While I was gone, I guess he got on another sheet. Hey, Lucy. Hi, Lucy. How are you? Oh, you big tub. You're a big tub of lard. You got a rough life? Eh? Rough life? Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. Hey, good girl. Good girl. We are going to put on some more steel right now. If you remember, this is for the other side. We're cutting out of here for there. We're going to try to get this done. Constantine's on his way. It's still morning right now. He'll be here in about 4 or 5 hours. And then we will finish up our documentary / interview. Boys are making feed for the chickens. If you're new to the channel, this is our farm. And we're getting ready for lots of stuff. We're hoping to be milking cows here soon, so we're trying to figure out how that's going to work. Is that to keep the foxes from running upstairs?
Yeah, keep them from sliding.
I'm pretty sure they'll run right up there.
I thought they would just jump over and keep on.
I think so. We're going to have to close it up there, right? The reason we're talking about foxes is because we caught them red-handed on camera. Maybe you've already seen that footage, but they ate, what was it, like 40 chickens?
40 or 50.
40 or 50 chickens in one night. It was terrible. Now, we weren't standing there with the camera filming them, watching them. We would have chased them away, of course. Our security cameras caught them, and we have it documented now, so we're on the lookout for you foxes. Anyway, now we're moving everything in here because it's just a better idea to keep them safe. Obviously, we can't afford to lose that many. What are you doing? What are you doing? You want to see on camera again? You're scratching my legs. So, anyway, down here we're planning on milking cows at some point, and we've got some chickens up there, and we're also getting some sheep. They're going to be going on the other side in the back corner for now. Long term, probably milk cows all the way down here, but we'll see how it goes. We'll start with 1, 2, 3 cows, something like that, and go from there. And hopefully, I got windows for this. We're going to close that in. Hopefully, we'll be able to put a door in here before winter, and then put some heat in here, which means I need a ceiling. And we have a machine for insulating, but I still have to put some something in here, obviously, to keep the insulation up there. Your main heat loss is always through a ceiling. So that's the most important thing for you to insulate, is the ceiling or your roof. Because that is where you lose majority of your heat in your house. Walls, of course, are important as well, but not nearly as important as a ceiling. Typically, I think we put in about an R60 in the ceiling and maybe an R30 in the wall. That's a unit of measurement that we have in Canada, probably the States as well, for measuring insulation effectiveness. Here in Russia, they do not use R value, which is another thing that's confusing for me, because they just measure things differently. Again, it's not wrong, it's not right, it's just different. So when I go to the store and I'm looking for R30 insulation or R28 or whatever it might be, they don't have that. Nobody would have a clue what I'm talking about. And they use different, some thermal rating. It's different, anyway, it doesn't matter, it's just different. So, but hopefully we can get that insulated, and then this winter we can get lots of projects in there when it gets too cold out here. Another major thing I want to do this year is put fences in. So we're still saving up for post fencing. I was hoping to build a post pounder, but I don't think I'm going to get around to it, so we'll probably have to drill them in. It's doable, it's just a lot more time consuming, and I really prefer a post that's pounded in the ground because it's more sturdy. But anyway, we just make it go as we can. Should we get to work now? Is it time? Yeah? And you're still representing, man, Countryside Acres, Countryside Acres. You're like a walking billboard. You get paid to advertise? No? Would that be awesome or what? So I pay you $5 a day to wear that shirt?
Wear it anyways.
You'd wear it anyway? So I don't have to pay you? Maybe you should pay me. Would you still wear it if you had to pay me $5 a day?
No.
No?
Don't have enough money, dude.
No, you'd run out of money, eh? Yeah. All right, the last thing I need in the peak yet was the rest of the trim for the fascia. So I just bent that up here. It's basically the same as the other fascia, except it needs to go like this. So hopefully it fits. It should. We'll get that stuck up there. That will finish up the peak, and then we can carry on with the steel here. We're waiting for that right now, so we can carry it back down on this side. What we used to do years ago, a company I worked for, we had company logo on here, and if I had something right now, I'd stick it on. I don't have anything that size. I could always do it later, or just don't worry about it. But it's just a little piece that would go up there. The other thing that I really like to do is put a vent in the gable end. I don't have one right now. I don't really need it. It's more for looks. Maybe someday I'll put one on because I find it looks very bare. You have a lot. It's nice to have something to break it up. So like here, the windows break up this long chunk of red, but this top part will now be a big piece of red with nothing to break it up. And so it's nice to have, same as I did in the house, to have like a white octagon vent here. They're hard to find here. Very common. All the hardware stores back in Canada carry a vent, or you can order one through them and have it in a couple of days. I found the ones for the house. They're for vinyl siding. I found one on ozone, but the biggest one is what I have on the house, and it would be, I can show you it here, I guess. It would be too small for the shop. So it's up there in the gable. And I don't think that would be big enough. That one's like about 2 feet, 60 centimeters. And the one that would fit better for this gable end here would be about 3 feet, or 90 centimeters. And I haven't found one yet. I mean, honestly, I don't need it. I have enough venting there as it is. So anyway, we'll see. If it bothers me down the road, I can always add it. I had considered making one too, but if it bothers me, I'll add it later. If not, we'll just leave it the way it is. Okay, corner cap is in. We gotta put a couple of screws in right above his head yet to hold that in. And now we're working our way back down again. This piece of steel can be challenging as well because, of course, it's a triple angle. We've got the angle on the one side, then we got the flat piece on there, and now we're angled back down the other side. But just, again, as a rule, always measure twice, cut once. Take your time, and it's not rocket science. So we got that one cut. It's perfect. Now we're going to work our way back down here, get this all closed up. We're in the homeward stretch, all downhill from here. Okay, July 1st deadline is coming up, and yes, I knew about this for a while. I've been procrastinating. I should have got it done a long time ago. Need a haircut too. All foreigners need to have their SIM cards registered, basically, with Gus Slugi, and there's some biometrics in order to have a SIM card. If they're not done by July 1st, they will get shut off. So I don't know if we'll have enough time yet to do it or not. Hopefully, we do have some people that can help us. But I know it's been an extreme problem for a lot of people who have tried to get it done because it's just a pain to do. Basically now, any foreigner that lands here, you used to be able to come off the plane and get a SIM card at a kiosk, whether that's Tele2 or Beeline or whatever it might be. You could get it as soon as you got off the plane. That will now no longer be available. They have to first sign up with Gus Slugi, which is like a public service website, and get all of their stuff figured out, biometrics checked and confirmed at the bank before they can buy a SIM card. How they're going to do that without the SIM card, I don't know, because when we got off the plane, we got a SIM card right away, which then allowed us to attach to the World Wide Web and get information as far as, you know, even Yandex, to order a taxi, to travel to your hotel, to check in somewhere, to use Google Translate. All of these things require some internet access, and that will now not be available to a foreigner anymore. So somehow they still have to figure out where Gus's Loogie is and get it all done. I'm working on it right now. That's why I brought it up. And I downloaded the Gus's Loogie app. Everything is in Russian. That's not unusual. We're in Russia. But again, for all the foreigners that come that can no longer get a SIM card, they are required to get all this stuff done first. And yet everything's in Russian. So you have to screenshot and translate every single page to try to figure out how on earth to get enrolled into Gus's Loogie in order to get your SIM card. And the problem was that you need a SNILS, and the SNILS isn't communicating with Gus's Loogie. This has been an issue that many people have had. I know some people who have been trying diligently for 3 months to get it done. They finally just last week got some progress, but they didn't procrastinate. They've been at it, trying to get it done. And it was not working because there's no communication. So we are going to work really hard in the next 2 weeks to try to get it done on time. The solution many people have given me is, don't worry about it, just get a Russian citizen to buy you a SIM card. Well, that of course defeats the whole point, the whole purpose. Why create a law and then expect me to break the law by getting a Russian citizen to get me a SIM card? That would defeat the whole purpose, would it not? And probably is some punishment involved in that as well. It's one of those things that is a massive step backwards. Every foreigner that I know has said the exact same thing. Russia has made some great steps in the right direction as far as making it simpler for Westerners to come. This one is an absolute horrible idea. And I'm sorry if you're watching this and it was your idea and implemented into law. It's terrible because it's just going to kill the tourism market. All right, if it takes minimum 2 weeks to get this figured out, a lot of people go on a holiday for a week, maybe 2 weeks at most. They're not going to sit in a hotel room and wait 2 weeks to get Gus's Loogie figured out in order to get a SIM card so that they can do holidays here. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. And tourism can be a huge boost to the economy. So I don't know what somebody was thinking when they cooked this idea up. It's terrible. It's horrible. I understand some of the reasoning behind it because of safety concerns, but there's got to be a better approach than this particular one. Or make everything available online as well in the English language so that it's actually accessible to the foreigner to get it done. And perhaps they could get it done overseas before even coming. I talked to somebody else recently. They went on a trip to America from Russia. Before leaving, they already had everything arranged as far as the SIM card is concerned. When they got to the airport, immediately the SIM card worked. There was like barely any transition time. They got off the plane in America. Everything was functioning and working, and they could go ahead and go about their travels. And that's how simple it should be coming here. So hopefully somebody will change that and make it simpler. I'm just telling you what I'm dealing with right now. And I don't always understand everything. I don't always understand all the reasoning behind it, but it's something that we have to deal with, and it just makes no sense. I spent about an hour-ish trying to do Anneesa's and mine. You can register. Everything connects together. It's great for like health services. Of course, amazing. Working in the kitchen, noisy. It's supposed to streamline everything. That's the whole point. A lot of stuff here in Russia is like not connected, and you think it would be. Like, I've had to go to different offices and enter the same information. It's like, you guys are all government. You think it would communicate. From what I understand, Gus's Loogie, the goal is to make everything streamline and communicate. But of course, it's not fully implemented yet, and there's still a lot of hiccups and issues with it. So I just tried to register, and it'll communicate through the bank. So the bank has some of my information already, of course, and that is one way of getting registered on Gus's Loogie. I entered everything, did everything as best as we can anyway, and it's not working, at least for mine. I got feedback for mine. It says it won't work. I have to now go to the state services. Some information's incorrect. And this is also a common problem that I've heard people say. It basically, because we're foreigners, our names are written in an English alphabet and not in a format similar to here. And when people enter the information, you might be giving them your passport. When they enter it, it doesn't always get entered correctly. So my name, as an example, the last name is Feenstra, and here in Russia it's Feinstra. Of course, in Russian letters, but why that way, I have no idea. So it's possible that one agency put it in as FEI and another one FEE or something. I'm not saying that that actually happened, but then that of course would not match. And this is the issue. As much as I think computerized programs and apps and all this stuff is really cool, there's no common sense. It's just a program. It's written to perform a certain task a certain way. And when you're talking to an actual human being, you might be able to say, well, it's this way or it's that way, and they say, oh yeah, well, duh, that makes sense. But a computer is not capable of doing that. Computer, it's either it gets filled in properly or not, and that's it. Unfortunately, some people are like that too, but for the most part, you can communicate with an individual and resolve an issue that you can't with a computer system, and that is always a problem that computers are going to be. Maybe in the future they'll get smart enough, but at this point we're roadblocked. We can't go any farther. We'll have to wait until Monday and then go to state services, I guess, and try to sort out whatever needs to be sorted out. Work again. Steel's just about done. Of course, mirror's in the way. So we'll have 2 more pieces, I think, and then that'll be all done. Then we're going to do some cleanup. These pieces will move to the other side and get ready for next week. We're actually ran out of screws, and 3 stores nearby don't have that color. So I'll have to wait for my guys to bring it next week that I ordered the steel from. I am going to get the bucket on. Let me turn the air conditioning on. Woo, she's hot in here. I'm going to put the bucket on and flatten the laneway. There's a bit of a hump, and we don't want Constantine's car to get wrecked. Bit of a hump on the back, so we'll fix that and then carry on the wood. Wes started putting some boards along the bottom here that I stained the other day, so we're gonna get that job finished. Yeah, it's coming together very good. All right, so it's kind of cool. As part of this, we are going to drive to town here to our local grocery store. And with Constantine, we're going to drive to town, local grocery store, and I am in a Chinese car for the very first time. So this is an Exceed. I don't even know how to start this thing because I got the keys and there's no key. So I'm assuming it's a push button. Am I correct?
Yeah, so you push the
Brakes?
yeah, and then you press this button.
Oh, somebody with short legs. This moved automatically.
Yeah, that was me.
So you have to have this in the vicinity of the car, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Interesting. Fancy smancy. All right, Friday morning, I come downstairs, and this is what I meet. 2 ladies working hard away here. Making these delicious donuts, for one. Available at the sale today. Anneesa's busy cooking breakfast already. She's been up for about an hour, I think, 5:30. Most of this baking was done yesterday. We've got cookies. I'm not exactly sure what these are, but they're very delicious. Brownies, maybe peanut butter cookies. We've got some apple ones, oatmeal ones. There's chocolate chip in here somewhere. I think these might be chocolate chip. Oh yeah, maybe those are apple. This is chocolate chip. And then the donuts, Anneesa likes to have those as fresh as possible, so she's making them right away this morning. And Coraline is busy making icing for the donuts right now. All right, delicious breakfast. Now we're getting suited up here. Annie, you ready for the day?
Yep.
Excited?
Yeah.
You gonna have big sales?
Hope so.
That's fun either way. It's experience, right? Job experience. And you 2 are coming with the setup?
Yep.
And then coming home for chores. And work. See if we can get some more work done. On our way, second market. Definitely quieter at the market today. Now we are an hour earlier than last week, but this was all full last week. Of course, last week was a what do you call it? A holiday. So probably more people showed up because of that. So it'll be interesting to see how it does this week, or if more people are still coming. There are people setting up yet. Alrighty, Constantine's gone again. Stay tuned for that documentary. I think it's going to turn out really good. I'm pretty excited about it, actually. He's a great guy, and he does just amazing work in all of his videos, interviews, documentaries. So check out his channel as well, Real Reporter. He gets into lots of different stuff. Check out his channel. We are back at it again. The girls are still at market. We're getting things done around here. Trying to get more projects accomplished, I guess. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. We're going to move the greenhouse. Going to put some dirt in there today. Plant the remaining tomatoes that Anneesa started. Try to plant those in there, and that'll allow us to run longer into the season. She also, bless me. She also wants to plant more peas and more beans. They can handle cooler weather, not frost, but cooler weather, and so we'll be planting some more of those again as well, and that'll extend our grocery store, if you will, table food, a little later into the season as well. I'm going to look at some cows this evening with Anneesa and the lady from town. We're going to take a drive. It's about an hour from here roughly. We'll see if that'll work out for us or not. Finn's making funny noises chasing ducks. Always something going on here. We're slowly getting stocked up. Our first year here was a lot of construction. The second year here is development and figuring out markets, figuring out what animals we need, kind of finishing up some projects. And then hopefully third year we'll really be geared up for actual farm production. And the interesting thing is, I've heard many homesteaders say this, it takes 3 years to actually get a homestead up and running. And I think I probably would have argued that in the past and said, no way, 3 years, come on, you should be able to get it faster. But in reality, our last place as well, we were only there for about 3 years, and we were just starting to, get into production where we were getting profitable and selling things, getting a customer base. After about 3 years, the same thing, we bought bare land, we built a brand new house, workshop, barn, and it took about that same time frame to just get established. There's a lot of construction, a lot of consideration, a lot of things that need to happen before you can get a homestead operational. And here in Russia, it's no different. If you're going to hire it all in, I suppose you could get everything done maybe sooner, but we do everything ourselves. So hopefully, a good year. This has been 1 year now here on the farm, officially, since we started building, 1 year. And looking forward to another year. It's a year of construction, like I said, and investment, I guess. And now let's turn those investments into a profitable business. Not just financially profitable, but also profitable in a community sense, where we're building community, building jobs, creating jobs, building friendships, meeting people, associations, lots of stuff. Here's the ducks wandering. We lock them up all the time now, especially since we had our fox attack. They go in the barn where nobody can get them, but during the day we let them around. Typically they're in their greenhouse with the pond for swimming, but right now we just let them out. I mean, there's no grass to eat there anymore, and I love seeing them eating grass. So they're out here now nibbling. We'll keep an eye that they don't walk too far away, but this way they get their bugs, minerals, grasses, rocks, everything that they need for digestive and health. Hey, that one's eating some grass. Earlier I seen him taking scoops full of sand. That guy's eating some dirt or a bug, whatever he just found. Lovely. All right, back to work. Anneesa's seeding. Want to get some grass growing on this dirt that we've got around the house now. A little bit more landscaping to do there, and also in front of the shop. Wes and I put the boards on the bottom. We want to get some more landscaping done there yet. Around this bunkie guest house, need to get some stuff done. Lots of work. They heard the sprinkler running, and they decided they needed to come running. Hey, getting the rototiller hooked up. Gotta just till a little bit of ground. I need to move the dirt eventually, but right now I just need a little bit of dirt for the greenhouse so that Anneesa can put her tomatoes in there. Tomorrow we are going 3 hours north, 3.5 roughly. I have to go there anyway, and there happens to be some sheep up there that I wanted to look at, which is like 20 minutes from where I need to be, and we're been trying to get access to go look at these sheep. They have them for sale, and you think we'd just be able to go take a peek at them, but for whatever reason, no, it doesn't work. Like the manager's there, but the owner won't be there. So I'm not buying them tomorrow. I just want to go have a look at them. So anyway, it's been a really hard time trying to source animals and get animals, and it gets again because there's no small farms. It's not like there's tons and tons of farms like we would be used to. It's very easy to go find animals, and rules and restrictions are very different. I can easily just go and buy animals anytime, bring them home. There's no legislations for that like there is here. So anyway, it's kind of disappointing because we were hoping to buy these sheep. We've been working on trying to find some sheep for months, and finally we found a herd. Looks like this might work, and we've been trying to get into that place for about a week now. Tomorrow's the day. We'll be driving right there, like 20 minutes from that place. I don't really want to drive 3.5 hours again a couple days later. It's like, we're going to be there that day. Can you make an exception? And no, I'm so sorry. It's not going to work out. I understand it happens. It's just frustrating. It would be nice if it wasn't so difficult to source animals and actually get farming here at some point. Hopefully sometime soon in the future we'll find a herd and people that we can work with and get going here.